This is the Election Bureau. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Ajuatin Krama Domina. Top of our stories this afternoon, SHS placement for first years yet to be announced 5 days to the reopening of schools. We'll hear from the Africa Education Watch, which has raised serious concerns on this development.
Today is Friday, so they'll have the school postings out. And so let's say even if it comes after the weekend, we'll still have only Monday and Tuesday. Because Wednesday, if my calculation is right, Wednesday is supposed to be 30th.
Meanwhile, the Education Ministry has assured of the release of school placement by this weekend.
I am very certain that hopefully by weekend we should get the placement results out.
Also coming up in the bulletin. Member of Parliament's Defense and Interior Committee calls for pragmatic steps in fighting off Islamic militant infiltration following reports of Ghana's north being used as a logistical and medical rear base.
The threat against the peace and security of Burkina Faso is equal to the threat against the peace and security of Ghana. So whatever happens in Burkina Faso, this will have a ripple effect on Ghana.
Well, there's a security analyst who is casting doubt about the accuracy of these reports.
This story touches on the professional efficiency of our intelligence services and our security service. And I think we need to get to the bottom of this.
Later in the bulletin, we'll hear from father of the 10-year-old gruesomely murdered in an infamous Kaswa ritual killing case, who is calling for a clampdown on television stations advertising money doubling schemes.
Now, one thing, so they say, a person can yama and penifone and penifone bem. Na sambara na omode abase akwara ye bonu di 15 years yemfa no ko juvenile court sa akwara 15 years what make we di bonu ye se openi di ntina nka se judgment nka se komo mu ni nyina komo nyina komo life.
Stay with us for details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the news is live across the globe on citinewsroom.com. Around the country, we're live on a number of affiliate stations. If you're in the Western region, tune into Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrade. In the Bono region, Green 95.9 FM in Sunyai. In the Ashanti region, Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In Volta region, this is Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu, VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohoi. In the Northern region, Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM. In the Upper East region, this is Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Upper West region, you can find us on Tunsong 97.3 FM in Wa and Jirapa 96.1 FM. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
We're grateful for your company. This afternoon, we begin on education. Think tank Africa Education Watch has chastised the Ghana Education Service for the seeming lack of communication on its inability to release school postings for first-year senior high school students. Now, first-year students are expected to be in school on Wednesday, October 30. Although postings to the various schools are yet to be released for students and parents. Speaking to Citi News on this development, Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, said the Ghana Education Service must be proactive in its communication to parents and students to enable parents and guardians prepare adequately for the awards.
I think it's concerning, especially where we have literally 3 working days to the reopening date of 30th. And in as far as it's concerning, it's important for parents to prepare adequately, and be ready to provide the necessary support to their wards in real time. Today is Friday, and we still don't have the school postings out, and so let's say even if it comes after the weekend, we'll still have only Monday and Tuesday. Because Wednesday, if my calculation is right, Wednesday is supposed to be 30th. So it's a very, very tight schedule. It's never the ideal situation. I would have expected that at least some communication would have come from the GES between the time the academic calendar was announced and now. so that people will know what is actually going on. But as I said, within the circumstances where we find ourselves, parents will have to prepare. The month has ended, so those who are getting their salaries should be mindful that whether the notice is short or not, their kids will be going to school middle of next week, and they have to do the adequate preparation.
That's the Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch and Education think tank, Kofi Asare. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education has assured the public that a school placement for first-year students will be released by this weekend. Kwesi Kwarteng speaks for the ministry.
I'm not sure it's a problem. If you recall, WAEC just released BC results. And even prior to that, the academic calendar had already been released to the public space so that parents can prepare accordingly. We are also much aware that before we are able to do the placement students to their respective selected schools, we rely on the data from WAEC. And so we got it, and the processes are far advanced. I am very certain that hopefully by weekend we should get the placement results out. But I think something is also very fundamental and important that I think is important that parents also get to know and understand that the fact that we are opening school does not necessarily mean that students are going to start full academic activities on that 30th. It's essentially an opportunity for students to visit their schools and go through registration processes within the school premises, and of course also acclimatize with the school, go through process of orientation. And mostly we all know that takes a period of about 2 weeks even before full academic exercise takes place.
You heard the spokesperson for the Ministry of Education, Kwesi Kwarteng. Away from that now, a deputy ranking member on Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Peter Lanchene-Tobu, has urged the government to implement practical measures to shield Ghana from a potential spillover of terrorist activities in the Sahel. The score follows reports indicating that Islamic militants operating in Burkina Faso are quietly utilizing Ghana's north as a logistical and medical support base for their insurgency. Speaking to Citi News on the subject, Peter Tobu cautioned that any escalation in Burkina Faso could have serious repercussions for the peace in Ghana.
The threat against the peace and security of Burkina Faso is equal threat against the peace and security of Ghana. So whatever happens in Burkina Faso definitely will have a ripple effect on Ghana. So somebody thinks that the Ghanaian authorities are turning the blind eye. If that happens to be true, I will be very surprised. Because when Burkina is on fire, Ghana will definitely be preparing because we are not safe at all. Whatever it is, Ghana is doing its bit to ensure the peace and security of the West African Southeast. That notwithstanding, the fact that we are one people, if somebody lives in Ghana, he's a Burkinabe, when he gets sick and he goes to hospital, he'll be treated. The only difference is that the terrorists do not carry sparks. You will never meet anybody in Accra circle in Accra, and the person is suspected to be a terrorist, and you can see a mark on him. Terrorists do not have marks, identifiable marks. They are normal human beings who are radicalized to believe in what they are doing. So we should be able to do something very dramatic and drastic to ensure that the Ghanaian people believe in the nation Ghana. They believe in the peace and security of the nation Ghana. We should be patriotic enough not to join any other group that is destructive in character. We all have a responsibility.
As a member of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, Peter Lanchene-Tobu. Meanwhile, a security analyst, Professor Kwesi Enin, has questioned the credibility of this report from Reuters, suggesting that Islamist militants in Burkina Faso are covertly using Ghana's north as their medical support base.
So let's not allow people to sit somewhere in the comfort of their homes and offices and write stories about us that we suddenly believe, that we suddenly want to spend a lot of time on. I have traveled to those places. I've stayed with people along the borders. I've listened to them talk, and I've questioned them about extremists in their towns. And they looked at me as if I'm a madman, whether I think they will destroy the livelihoods that they have built for themselves. I think this story must be discarded with the disgust and the contempt that it deserves. So people make up stories because they want to see their names appear in a newspaper. Okay? I mean, why don't you talk to the general officer commanding the North and get his views on it? You see, because this story touches on the professional efficiency of our intelligence services and our security services. And I think we need to get to the bottom of this. But certainly, like as I repeated, this is not worth the paper it is printed on.
Security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin. Away from that now, NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has stated that the implementation of the free senior high school policy demonstrates the party's commitment to fulfilling its promises. Speaking at a campaign rally in Sogakope in the Volta region, the flag bearer stressed the party's belief in making possibilities a reality and urged Ghanaians to trust the party to deliver on its commitments.
We are a party of possibilities. When we say it is possible, it is possible. When we said we wanted to do 3 SHS, they told us it was not possible. But we said it is possible. And we made it happen. Today, 5.7 million children have got free senior high school education.
Flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The National Democratic Congress, the NDC, is demanding the immediate suspension of the contract between the Electoral Commission and Yasako Printing Company. The NDC claims that the company, one of the companies contracted to print ballot materials, has consistently failed to meet its printing obligations, deeming the contract a complete waste of resources. Speaking to Citi News, NDC's Deputy Director of Elections, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, questioned the extent of due diligence carried out by the Electoral Commission before engaging Yasako for ballot printing.
They have not printed even a single ballot paper, thereby making us always deploy our party agents from morning up to evening and overnight. Meanwhile, they are not doing anything. So we're questioning what kind of criteria or what kind of mechanism that the Electoral Commission take into consideration in hiring such a company. I mean, it doesn't make sense. They lack capacity. If you look at them, you know that they cannot print the ballot papers as they wanted them to. Also, what was the reason behind that, bringing them on board, when equally better,
Meanwhile, as the court prepares to deliver its ruling on October 31 regarding the NDC's injunction application to halt the Electoral Commission from printing parliamentary ballot papers for Memphis Central following the disqualification of the party's candidate, Joanna Jankujo, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer states that the party will respect the court's decision.
These 5 petitioners, what is their locus? What is their...
We'll bring you that insert in our subsequent bulletins, but some constituents in Memphis Central have voiced their dissatisfaction with the Electoral Commission's disqualification of the NDC's parliamentary candidate.
Memphis Central na Memphis Central NDC seat since 1992. Na NDC na enwini wo hasa na sabre no say Electoral Commission
Central constituency has voted NDC since 1992. The Electoral Commission should be fair in the discharge of its duties. If Joanna Kujo is disqualified, the NDC youth in the constituency will protest.
NDC Mabluni, you be protest against that.
If Joanna Kujo is disqualified, it will affect the constituency. She's not an MP yet, but she's doing so much for residents here, like paying school fees and helping others with their business. Her disqualification will not be in our best interest.
About how me fees almost school fees in the Mamma Handra or school fees in the and the summer in a few months, in fact, ever had you the best some debris, some are many dear. I mean, Vicente, yes, from pass, some mamma and mala.
He has some constituents in Memphis Central in the Western region. Let's stay on election related stories, and Deputy Chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, has expressed concern over the low participation of women in this year's election. Speaking at a forum on the 2024 elections in Winneba, attended by clergy leaders and political parties, Dr. Asari highlighted that out of over 800 parliamentary candidates nationwide, only 120 are women. He notes that despite lowering the filing fee for female and physically challenged candidates, participation among women remains discouraging.
The Electoral Commission, we've made it a point that we are trusting God to see us through a very, very successful election. However, we are also doing all the hard work that is necessary to ensure that we achieve that. So currently, as we speak now, the Electoral Commission has completed a chunk of the processes. We've done our registration, we've done our exhibition. We had a second version of the exhibition which we concluded on Saturday. We've done the nomination exercise, and as you may be aware, in this year's nomination, the filing fee for female candidates and persons with disabilities will reduce it by 25%. So for the presidential election, male candidates pay 100,000 Ghana cedis, and female candidates and persons with disabilities pay 75,000 Ghana cedis. And for the parliamentary elections, the male candidates pay 10,000 Ghana cedis, and the female candidates and persons with disabilities also pay 7,500. The main idea was to encourage more women to take part in the process. But unfortunately, the numbers that came were not very, very encouraging. So far, for the parliament, we are having about 830 or so candidates. Only about 120 of them are female. So that's about 13%.
Deputy Chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, you're still listening to the Citi Prime News. When we return, father of 10-year-old gruesomely murdered in infamous Kaswa ritual killing case calls for a clampdown on television stations advertising money doubling schemes. We have details of that and more stories coming up shortly. Please stay.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. The father of 10-year-old Ismail Mensah Abdullah, who was murdered in Kaswa by two boys for alleged money rituals, is urging the Ministry of Information to take immediate action against television stations advertising money doubling schemes. Now, he believes these adverts motivate young people to engage in criminal acts, which ultimately led to his son's tragic death. Yesterday, the court sentenced Nicholas Kinney to life imprisonment, while the other suspect was sent to juvenile court for sentencing. Frank Mensah Abdullah is calling on the Ministry of Information to intensify efforts to clamp down on such stations.
Na achire ma na omo ba no next time obi nkoye sabon ni bio koye because me yen koye na nko mfa to TV so na nka obiara hu se ade ankora ya yi next time no okoya ehu beka no se me koya bia se ne ebe me se ne ebe.
The government must embark on an exercise to clamp down on radio stations that advertise money rituals and money doubling. I remember the Minister of Information began an earlier exercise. It ought to be intensified to deal with stations that are into such practices. This will prevent others from engaging in such acts.
You discover mema we say we say me say and one dey say kunkumakumo nya adwen fi no e dey ba o de man kwara no mo didi sa abro we nyina no.
You had the father of a 10-year-old who was murdered in Kaswa by two boys for money rituals. Away from that, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, has given the Sujaman Education Directorate and the headmaster of Akwamuman Senior High School a 5-day ultimatum to lift the embargo on July and August salaries of some teachers at the school. This action follows allegations of victimization and salary suspensions for certain teachers due to their non-attendance at the Professional Learning Community Program. The PLC, introduced by the government about 8 years ago, serves as a tool for professional development, allowing teachers to earn credit points for continuous professional development to improve their understanding. Well, speaking to City News, NAGRAT Secretary in Kofoidia, Godwin Awono Yevu, described these actions as counterproductive.
by inviting them to the offices to explain why sanctions should not be leveled against them. We urge school administrators, policymakers to take immediate action to address this issue. Preferably, we are asking the Ghana Education Service to take this as an urgent measure to ensure that our headmasters and headmistresses, including the district directors and municipal directors, to desist from the victimization and harassment of teachers who fails to attend the PLC and CPD sections. Teachers should not be punished for not attending PLC sessions, especially if they have valid reasons for not being able to attend. Instead, efforts should be made to accommodate their schedules and ensure that they are able to participate in these important sections. Together, we can create a more supportive and positive work environment for teachers.
Eastern Regional Chairman of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Godwin Awono Yevu. Away from that now, the Ministry of the Interior has imposed a total ban on carrying arms, ammunition and any offensive weapons in Sampa, located in the Jama North District of the Bono region. According to a statement from the ministry, individuals who violate this regulation will face arrest and prosecution. Now, this measure follows the ministry's renewal of an indefinite curfew in a township due to long-standing chieftaincy disputes. The curfew, effective Thursday, October 24, will be enforced daily from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now, a group of elected assembly members from 29 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies in the Greater Accra region have expressed their support for the NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama in the upcoming December elections. Assembly members state that after a thorough review of the NDC's manifesto, they are confident it provides the solutions needed to address Ghana's economic and developmental challenges over the past 7 years. Mr. Ziad Musa, the convener of the group and assembly member for Amamono electoral area, made these remarks during a press conference in Accra.
We condemn in no uncertain terms the government's failure to stabilize the economy. We do not take this decision lightly. John Dramani Mahama has demonstrated not only a deep understanding of the economic challenges facing Ghanaians, but a clear and comprehensive vision to restore Ghana on the path of growth. His track record speaks for itself. During the previous administration as president, John Dramani Mahama prioritized sound infrastructure development, forward-thinking policies, and support for local governance. His leadership helped lay the foundation for projects that continue to benefit our communities, from roads to schools to hospitals to energy projects and social infrastructure. John Dramani Mahama's projects are tangible and impactful. We are not going to just end here. We are going to move to every cranny. We are going to move into every community. We are going to move into every ghetto to ensure that our voices are heard.
Ziad Musa is an assembly member for the Amamono electoral area. Now, moving on, former Ghana Football Association Vice President George Afriyie has stated that he is not surprised by the current GFA President Keto Kroku's decision not to resign, attributing this to a lack of self-reflection. Today marks 5 years since Keto Kroku assumed office as GFA President in 2019. In light of this anniversary, Mr. Afriyie noted that the national team's steady decline in performance at major tournaments with recent FIFA rankings, reflecting the struggles during Okroku's tenure. He also points out credibility issues within Ghana's top-tier league, claiming it is subject to extensive manipulation by some executives of the GFA Council members. Now, in an interview with Citi News, Mr. Afriyie echoed the call from GALCA President Kujo Fianu for Okroku to resign.
I'm saying that elsewhere, is that not what is done? If you fail to deliver, you just resign. And it's done, but it's not typical in a Ghanaian DNA. So for that, I know that will not happen. So that's why I will not even bother waste my time to call him to resign, because he won't resign. I mean, for them and those in administration now, they think that they are doing very, very, very well. But people like Mr. Kujo Fianu, who have been around for so many years and know how our football has been run over the years, things that Mr. Ketu has failed, and that's a fact. First of all, in our leagues, they should take their hands off the running of the Premier League. The Premier League and the Division 1 League is too much being manipulated. My brother, I know things that happened prior to the last matches of the league. And if I tell you, sir, I was even personally approached by certain clubs. Trust me, the things going on in our football, if we want true development in our football, they should just take off their hands and allow the bodies that has been mandated to run the league free hands to do it. They are not doing that. There are too many manipulations.
You have former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, George Afriyie. Some constituents in the Fomena constituency in the Ashanti region have expressed dismay and disappointment in the New Patriotic Party's leadership for allowing Andrew Amoako-Esiama to contest on the party's ticket despite his previous departure to run as an independent candidate. According to them, the party has shown a lack of respect for grassroots in the constituency by accepting Mr. Esiama back and allowing him to contest unopposed in the primaries. They believe that this decision is unfortunate and threaten the campaign, and they threaten rather to campaign and vote against him in the December polls. City News' Ashanti regional correspondent Doris Lonta reports.
Fomena is one of the 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region, represented in Parliament by Andrew Amoako-Esiama. In the 2020 elections, Andrew Amoako-Esiama contested and won the Fomena seat as an independent candidate. Subsequently, he was nominated and elected as the second Deputy Speaker of the 8th Parliament of Ghana. Later, he declared his intentions to align and conduct business with the NPP caucus. Andrew Amoako-Esiama is among the 4 MPs whose seats were declared vacant by the Speaker of Parliament because of his decision to contest the 2024 elections on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. If not for the Supreme Court's ruling of a stay of execution on Parliament's decision, this would have been the second time Andrew Amoako-Esiama's seat was declared vacant, because in the 2020 elections, when he left his party, the New Patriotic Party, to contest as an independent candidate, his seat was declared vacant by the then Speaker of Parliament. I mean, the constituency to interact with constituents to understand their views on the recent development.
Honorable Esiama was part of the NPP, left us in pains, even though he won. Most of the constituents are saying they don't know him because of what he did the last 4 years.
Do you find it disappointing that he has been given the opportunity to contest on the ticket of the NPP? Are you disappointed with leadership?
All the constituents, reception of those who support him or who supported him. Because, yes, we know this is how politics is. If you have your chance, use it. But it would have been better for the party hierarchy, the top hierarchy, to come down and solve the issue.
I will never be disappointed, because at the end of the day, politics is about development. And what he did has really brought about development. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but looking from where I'm coming from, what he did has brought development in Fomena constituency, and then we can't say it's a bad thing or I will be disappointed about anything.
So can you pinpoint some of the things he did that you feel he's done so well that he deserves?
Just right beside me is the police quarters that he's building, personally, from his own pocket, not funded by government or anything, for Fomena. You look at the street in Fomena, he's constructing them from Chiaboso to Akokere, a beautiful road done for the first time. So there's a whole lot of development across the constituency that we can talk about.
Nkofoki can say oko independent awasabe joining NPP no.
The NPP does not prioritize developmental projects in our constituency. They only initiate small projects when it's time for elections. However, this year, we are not ready to vote for the NPP's parliamentary candidate. We will only support the presidential candidate.
So those were some Fomina residents, and in that report filed by City News' Ashanti regional correspondent Doris Lonta. And that's our package for you for today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka, Accra. Log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. You can also join us using the hashtag CityVerify, hashtag GhanaPost2024, and hashtag Election Bureau for all your election-related stories. My name is Ajwatin Kramadom. Thank you for your company. Good afternoon.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.